Hey YouTube, it's Jamie Nice here with another video, and this is Money in the Bank 2013 results, review, highlights, whatever. First, it started out with the payback, or the kickoff match. I'm just gonna show this part of it. I don't really have a lot of pictures to show because I didn't want to wait around and wait for pictures and stuff, because that's what I did for WrestleMania 1, and I think I can do is good, just even though it doesn't have a bunch of pictures, because it has all the results. Even though that one says in progress, it just went off like a minute or two ago. I went into this pay-per-view having high expectations, and it met my needs. It met my expectations, whatever. But yeah, it started out with the kickoff with Shield and Usos, and it was probably the best payback, or not payback, pre-show slash kickoff match that they've done, and it was about 15 minutes. It was pretty good, and Shield ended up winning, but it was close. They almost lost like a couple times, and yeah, at the end, I don't remember what Seth Rollins did, but he did something, and then Roman Reigns came out of nowhere and speared, I don't remember which one it was, and got the win. And then, I'll go ahead and show you that. Tag team champions Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins defeat the Usos. And the next match was the Money in the Bank Future Stars, or World Heavyweight Championship contract match, ladder match, which was Wade Barrett versus Fandango versus Dean Ambrose versus Alberto Del Rio versus Antonio Cesaro versus Cody Rhodes versus Damian Sandow. And this match was awesome. Don't really remember everything, but I've got a few things to say. During the match, Dean Ambrose grabbed the ladder and did like the Terry Funk thing where you spin around with it on your head and started hitting people. And then Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro lifted it up. It was insane, with his head and arms and whatever still in it. And then he did like the skin the ropes or whatever it is, where when you like the Royal Rumble, when they like go over and then their hands are still on and they flip back over. He did that standing on the ladder, and he was about to get the Money in the Bank, and then they went over to here and shook him and threw him onto the floor. It was awesome. But at the end, it looked like Cody Rhodes was about to win, and out of nowhere, Damian Sandow comes up, pulls him off, and grabs the briefcase, and he won the Money in the Bank contract. There it is. Damian Sandow won the World Heavyweight Championship Money in the Bank contract. And then the next match was Intercontinental Championship, Curtis Axel versus The Miz. This match wasn't very long. Oh yeah, I give the payback, or the preview match, pre-show match, I give that a 7 out of 10. The world title Money in the Bank match, I give it a 10 out of 10. Intercontinental Championship match, Curtis Axel ended up doing some neck breaker move or whatever and got the pinfall and retained his title, and I give that a 6 out of 10. It was too quick. Then the next match was Divas Champion. Oh yeah, they started chanting ECW. Paul Heyman ended up getting thrown out, and then they said, "We want Paul Heyman." Thought that was funny. And then seems like this crowd only knew 9 letters, and they were demanding, because they were chanting, "We want tables" during the 2 ladder matches, ECW and RVD, and then during the Del Rio match, I think they started chanting USA. And then yeah, and the next match was Divas Championship match, AJ Lee versus Caitlyn, and it went back and forth all match. I thought Caitlyn was just gonna dominate the whole match, and she ended up being even with AJ. AJ mostly worked on the arm so she could lock in the Black Widow, I think that's what they would call. I think that's what it's called. And yeah, she ended up making a Caitlyn tap, and I give that 6.5 out of 10. I actually liked that match. They're making the Divas division have a comeback. And one of the things in the match, Caitlyn pushed AJ, and then Big E caught her. It was cool because it showed her getting pushed, flying, and then it shows Big E and catching her. The next match, Ryback versus Chris Jericho. I don't know why it says Ryback defeated Chris Jericho versus Ryback. I don't even remember how. I don't even know if that's right. Oh yeah. Ryback defeated Chris Jericho. There's a picture of it. I'll show you just some pictures of the matches real quick. See, there he is with the Money in the Bank. Ryback defeated Chris Jericho, and nothing too big. I didn't really like Ryback's match. Maybe they'll have a match at SummerSlam, and Chris Jericho will win because that's what he did with Fandango. Lost one pay-per-view and then won it the next. I'll give that a 6 out of 10. Then the next match was the World Heavyweight Championship match. Alberto Del Rio versus Dolph Ziggler. And AJ came out in the middle of the match. It seemed like Dolph Ziggler was going to get the win. She comes in and hits Alberto Del Rio with the Divas belt and gets disqualified. And then she was saying she's sorry, and that's his face and her in the ring. And, yeah. It was a good match for what it was. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And then the next match, John Cena versus Mark Henry, went back and forth throughout the match too. And Mark Henry seemed like he was gonna win a couple of times after he hit World's Strongest Slam. Then John Cena put the STF on, and he got out. And then eventually he got it. He almost had him, and then Mark Henry was about to grab the rope, and then John Cena grabbed his like foot and pulled him back, and then he locked it on again and made him tap, and John Cena retained the title. And so all the titles were retained at this pay-per-view. Very unpredictable. Well, I'm not done yet. But yeah, that was the last title match. And so that I predicted Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins to win the kickoff. I predicted Dean Ambrose to win the World Heavyweight Championship, so I'm 1-1, and then Curtis Axel, I predicted him 2-1, AJ Lee 3-1, so Ryback made me 3-2, then Ziggler, I thought he was going to win, so I got 3-3, and then John Cena won, so they made me 4-3. I'll give that match a 7.5. I give it 6.5. It wasn't that good. I liked the kickoff match better. And then the last match was the Money in the Bank All-Stars. Let me refresh this and see if there's any more pictures. Oh, it doesn't have the picture of him. Let me refresh this. Let me see if there's a John Cena one. Oh, it still has that picture. Still says it's in progress. But, yeah, the next match, Money in the Bank All-Stars match, Christian versus Rob Van Dam. He got a big pop, but it would have been better if he was a surprise return. And, CM Punk, Randy Orton, Sheamus, and Daniel Bryan. And they did some things. Daniel Bryan stole the show. He was going nuts, kicking people, jumping off ladders, running, throwing people out of the ring, doing a suicide dive, putting Sheamus through one of those steel metal ladders, and he snapped it in half because there was little metal crumbs, just like what Sheamus did to Sin Cara. There was little metal crumbs. Wink, wink. No, they're silver ladders painted, or they're like wooden ladders painted silver, I think. Unless they just came silver. But yeah, this match was probably tied for the best match with the other one. I couldn't really pick which one I liked better, but they went back and forth throughout the match. They all was doing cool stuff. Rob Van Dam did his first 5-star frog splash after being back off of a ladder, and it didn't look too good, but it was his first one off a ladder, probably in a long time. And then Paul Heyman came out after Daniel Bryan was about to win. Curtis Axel hits him with a chair, and I was like, oh my god, are you kidding me? My money was on Daniel Bryan. And then he started fighting, and then he hit CM Punk, and then CM Punk gave him a GTS, and Paul Heyman is like, what are you doing? We want him to win. And then CM Punk was about to win, and then Paul Heyman gets in the ring and takes the ladder and slams it, and it hits him, and he hit him again, and then he fell, and then he hit him again, and it like smashed his head against the ladder, and then CM Punk was bleeding, and RVD's head was a little cut, I think, when he did the 5-star frog splash. I forgot that. And yeah, and then Randy Orton, or RVD, came back in. He was almost up there. Randy Orton pulls his leg out, so he like yanks his leg, so he's falling, and then he catches him and RKO's him, and he gets up there and wins the Money in the Bank. I can't believe that he won Money in the Bank. Surprising me, just this big surprising pay-per-view. No one would ever thought that freaking Damian Sandow would win, but he did. And yeah, no one expected Randy Orton to win, I don't think. And I didn't think that AJ would ever do something like that, interrupt in his match and hit Del Rio with the belt when he wasn't even being attacked by Del Rio. But it was a very unpredictable pay-per-view. It was like you didn't expect the things to happen. It was awesome pay-per-view. I like just about all parts of it, except for the Cryback match. I'm not the biggest fan of him. And I think I went over all the matches. Big Show and Kofi Kingston, Josh Matthews, and Vicky Guerrero were on the Superstar panel. And can't think of anything else. Shout out to Denny Galvez TV and Deshaun Rocks 10. They were there. Can't think of anybody else that was there that I really know of. Maybe I think the Boston Brothers might have been there, or the Lorenzo Brothers. One of the brothers were there. One of the brothers groups, I think, were there. And yeah, I think that's probably been one of the best pay-per-views of this year. But overall, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Maybe not the best pay-per-view, but it was an awesome pay-per-view. And this has probably been my favorite year in wrestling since 2005 or 2003. And I'll probably end up trying to get all the pay-per-views and then the best of Raw and SmackDown from 2013. I normally don't get many pay-per-views or the best of Raws and stuff because the current WWE product wasn't really that good, or just a few past years, but this year has been awesome so far. And we'll see what happens on Raw and in SummerSlam, and I'll probably be making separate videos on the Money in the Bank winners. But there's Randy Orton unhooking it. try to refresh it to just show you proof that he won. Hopefully it says it this time. Oh, it's still in progress. But, yeah. Not lying, he did win. And, yeah, that's my review for Money in the Bank 2013, and that's about it. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, bye.